Hamza, decongestion.
Nana, unfortunately, it is difficult to disagree with my brother today on this matter. And like you clearly indicated from the onset, you see, for me, I feel that it is always a way for political appointees at the district level to announce their presence. I remember clearly when His Excellency President John Evans Assemblies was elected, and the then mayor appointed Alfred Oko-Vanderpoel. The first action he initiated had to do with a move to clean the capital city and rid our streets of illegal hawkers. Just after that, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo became president and also appointed, I think, Henry Kwete as regional minister. Yeah. And that was how he announced his presence, where he even had confrontations with some of the traders, largely because of the policies he also intended to introduce. Today, we have a new Accra mayor. He has also announced something similar. Yeah. So for me, it is a way to announce their political presence as far as the national capital is concerned. And that is clearly unacceptable. That notwithstanding, that is not to say that those efforts, in a way, are not also commendable. They are. They have their importance. But I think we should go beyond just the announcement of political presence. And yesterday, I had to say this on another platform. You see, sometimes when you are appointed by a leader, you need to mirror your leader. And I have watched President Mahama closely since his days as vice president. In fact, even before he became vice president. And I know that this is not a man driven by quick fixes. Right. A classical example has to do with the way he dealt with Dumso. In the face of political pressure that was calling for quick fixes, His Excellency President Mahama resisted that invitation and stood his grounds and went for long-term investments in the energy sector that had political implications. And his political survival, because at the time he was pursuing those long-term investments, the lights were out. Businesses struggled. And I remember where he said that he was ready to do the needful, even if it has a political cost to it. And that was part of the reasons why that infamous statement was made about a dead goat syndrome, which was taken for political reasons. Because for some strange reasons, as citizens, those days we all seem to think that for Ghana to develop and most of the difficult decisions to be taken, we needed a president willing for just a one term at the presidency. Because we knew within ourselves that any president committed to taking the difficult decisions is unlikely to secure a second term. That was the general consensus. And I believe it is still the general consensus in this country. Because we know that the people will rebel, even though these decisions needed to be taken. So if you are appointed by a man with this philosophy and understands that when it comes to national development, the most important thing is to privilege the national objective over partisan considerations, then your actions as an appointee must mirror or reflect these principles. And so that is my caution to the new mayor. Not to say that his steps are not commendable. They are. But how sustainable will they be? That is what we are interested in. Because I've just given you examples of how other mayors and regional ministers have conducted themselves after their appointments. Is Accra still clean? No. Absolutely not.
Far from that.
Far from that. We are still in rot. Like my brother indicated, my senior comrade, there are still burdens on our waterways. We do not have the political muscle to be able to act. Even committees that are required for the district assemblies to work are unable to work. So for me, I think that if he wants this thing to be sustainable, the way to handle it is to, as a matter of urgency, engage the Ministry of Transport. It is not for nothing that we have a Ministry of Transport. If we need our roads to be cleared of hawkers, the Ministry of Transport has a responsibility. He must engage them when it comes to the sanitation angle, the silting our gutters, clearing in buildings on waterways, there's the need for him to engage the Ministry of Waterworks and Housing. Sit together with these policy lead persons. Adopt a policy that can be presented to cabinet. And the entire government will meet at cabinet and have a discussion so that we would know the government policy is clear-cut when it comes to decongesting our capital cities. This is being done by 2 metropolitan assemblies. What about the rest? Do we have only 2 metropolitan assemblies in Accra? They are the likes of Ashama that is also densely populated. You get to certain parts of Ashama, you simply cannot drive on the roads. So we are dealing with a serious matter. And I think that the discussion should go beyond the frontiers of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. It needs a national approach. And for us to have that national approach, you need the intervention of 4 ministers. The minister responsible for local government, the minister responsible for transport, the minister responsible for water resources, works and housing, and the minister of interior, and also responsible for national security. So the mayor, if he wants to at least write his political legacy in a way that we would all celebrate, he must begin to activate the channels of communication by reaching out to these people and ensuring that they present it to Parliament for a holistic decision to be taken so that we can clear our streets. But you see, my brother, it is difficult to disagree with Dennis when he said that the district assemblies don't have capacity. If you look at the evolution of the district assemblies concept, and that is why I belong to the school of thought that we have to get to a stage as a country where we open the system up and allow elections as far as the district assembly portfolios are concerned.
Would this be on partisan lines?
I don't want it to be on partisan lines, to be clear. Because see, sometimes central government is sometimes
I agree with that.
yes, you see, my brother, sometimes central government, the conduct of central government makes it practically impossible for the district assemblies to live up to the dictates of their mandate because of political considerations. Because even the central government is careful about certain interventions that would clean our streets because of the political costs associated with same. But if you have a district assembly or district chief executive who is elected by the people, has no political loyalties, and the people know that at the end of the tenure, they go back to the polls to vote for him or against him, government or political parties are insulated. And in fact, the true essence of local government would have been felt by the people. And they would have complemented government effectively. But I think that we have failed to expand the frontiers of our local government system since its adoption. Because what the NDC did was simply to introduce a system. But successive governments have been quite dormant in terms of any commitment to truly giving meaning to the local government system. That is why we have many of these things on our law books that are not implemented. But again, I know my brother will agree that under them, he knows where I'm going to. I know you agree because you are the district chief executive. Unfortunately, even funds meant for the development.
For the way died, you know, nationalistic presentation. I mean, for once.
It's okay. He doesn't even know what I'm coming to say.
It's okay.
No, see, I'm talking about your economic situation.
It's okay. End on that.
No, let me wrap it up. You see, he knows where I'm going because he was a district chief executive. We had a situation where even their hands were tied because for the first time in our republic, funds that were meant to go directly to them as DCEs to be able to effectively perform their functions were being controlled at the district assemblies common fund level. Even petty procurements like vehicles for the functioning of the assemblies, those things were procured at the district by Nato Shadow. But you know it's the truth. You had no funds to operate. So their leadership, in fact, mortgaged the local government system and rendered them ineffective. Because even common resources to be able to run their districts, they were denied those resources. You see, Nana, finally, Today, thankfully, last week I listened to His Excellency President Mahama. He has indicated that 80% of these allocations would once again be given back directly to the district assemblies to determine their priorities and spend so accordingly. That is progressive. That is what progressive leadership is about. That is how you empower the district assemblies common concept. Hamza, but unfortunately, under my brother and his government,
Thank you.
You know,
you have been there before. What goes into some?
It will be nationalistic. You agree? Nationalistic. You agree?
I want to first of all find out
when
if that's the blessing.
Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini was going to be a minister, one of the things I told myself is that finally we are getting one major propagandist off the screens. Then he introduces to come and take over from him. I mean, fantastic presentation until the last part where he started introducing propaganda.
Of which you agree?
No, I don't.